Hi, and good morning. And today I'm going to go through a little bit of a tutorial on looking at trying to spot false favourites. Um, in most races, you would say that if you had full view of the form and you really understood exactly what each horse was able to do, then you could say which horse was better than the other and therefore which horse would win. It's rather like looking at 100 meters in the Olympics and knowing that Usain Bolt had beaten the rest of the field several times before, and you'd say, well, fair enough. Usain Bolt, having beaten the field several times before, should have a very good chance of beating them again in the final for the 100 meters at the Olympics. So you would bet on Usain Bolt, probably odds on, and you would have been a winner on several occasions. So that's when you have full visibility. The runners have run against each other. You know the timings. You know the track. You know the person. You know you had an input as to how Usain Bolt is feeling. He hasn't had the flu. He hasn't had any kind of setback in his training. So you've had all the information. You've got all the information at your control, and you completely understand it. And therefore, when someone comes up to you and says Usain Bolt is 4-9 to win the Olympics final, you completely understand why. And then the next best will be 2-1, and the next best will be 4-1, and you'll say, "Yep, that's fair. That's reasonable." So that's when you have all the information, and you can say that Usain Bolt is a worthy favourite, and all you're looking to do is to get the best possible price you can on Usain Bolt to win. However, we're going to look at a race this afternoon at Brighton, and I will show you something that looks very, very odd to me anyway. So we have the race we're looking at is the 440 at Brighton. We have a six runner affair where we can see the draw advantage is high, but it's over nearly 2 miles, so that's not a great advantage, particularly with Brighton's downhill and turning track. So so we don't worry about that. We're talking about a good to firm surface, so not heavy or not really firm. So the going is probably not going to be a great factor. Now, at Brighton, you generally expect a horse. It's quite a quirky track. If you've ever been there, big downhill, followed by a turn, followed by an uphill finish. It's quite a specialist track, so horses run strangely to better or worse, depending on whether they got on in the track or not. So quite often you're looking for a horse that's done something at the track before, particularly if it's won at the track before. That's a very good sign at Brighton. So let's have a look. Have we got anybody here who's got course or distance? Well, no, course. We're looking for course, aren't we? So has any of these horses got course full? No, none of them have course full. So there's no one here sitting with any kind of advantage based around the course. Now, we have a horse here called Nyala, and here we can see the form. 0-4-3-4-5-3. And we can look more closely at Nyala's form by clicking on Nyala at the races, and up comes, and I'll now share that. New share, and we'll just go into have a quick look at. We'll have a quick look at this. So hopefully you can see this Nyala form. So Nyala here, we'll have a look at the form, and we can see that over its lifetime, it's run 7 times, 6 times on turf, once on all weather. It's been placed once on turf, and that was the last time out. And that was at Chepstow over a mile on good ground in a Class 6. And what we see in that race towards near side, chase winner until inside final, Furlong kept on same pace in third. So we have a one-pace job over the mile here. It was 9-1, so was not particularly fancy to race well. We'll have a quick look and see whether anything in that race has gone on to do anything much. Not really. You could say that's not a bad run to second, but it's 2.5 lengths second. Otherwise, pretty poor. The 4 runs from those who were behind Nyala haven't really run that well. So again, even when we look at how the form of its best race worked out, nothing is done very much in that race. We have had Robert Winston and Jim Crowley on it, Tom Queally, Tony Hamilton and George Downing. So there's no real jockey who's going to get on well with this horse. It's the second time that William Carson has ridden on him. So we'll come to that in a minute. Any other decent form? Well, have we got any Class 5? Yes, we have. We've got a Brighton, 8 furlongs. So that's the similar distance. It's 2 miles, 211 yards. So we're over there. On firm ground, Class 5. It came third. Chasing leading pair, 3 furlongs ridden, kept on same pace inside. 1 furlong, never going pace to challenge. So that's not a bad run at Brighton over the same distance in a Class 5. So that's the best piece of form that you can find, coming third, 1 paced. And we'll have a quick look and see what happened in that race. Did any of the horses in that particular race come out and do anything much? If it'll go through, and we'll see that Cherubic, third in a Class 4, it's not too bad. 5th and 7th in Class 5, not great. And anything? Oh yeah, we got Angel of the North, but went on to the All Weather to score over a slightly further distance. Anything else? Oh yes, we've got 2 here. Class 5. So late change, even though absolutely nowhere out the back last, has come through and appears to be really not a bad horse at all. So late change, but obviously didn't run up to anything like it possibly goes slowly into stride. Last pair, never a factor. Obviously, they missed the break and wasn't really pushed to do very much. So you could say that there's some form in that race as well, but we're not shouting about very much here, are we? We're shouting about, bits and pieces, coming third, coming second, and so on. So the form is mediocre, to say the least, but mediocre. It may well win this race because it's a completely mediocre race. William Carson, let's see how he has done recently. So let's click on William, and hopefully the races will give us his form line, which they will. Now we can see that William has had 401 rides this last 12 months. He's won 21 races at a strike rate of 5.24. That is increased over the all-weather, and he has only 3.87% strike rate on the turf. If we look at where he does get his winners, well, actually, he does get a few at Brighton, 11.54. That could be encouraging, but 11.54 is nothing to write home about. William is better at Chelmsford, 16.33. This is the sort of thing you need to know if you are going to start betting on jockeys at tracks. Be aware that Wolverhampton, Polytrack, same as Chelmsford, he seems to have a 3.17 strike rate and a negative 55 pounds 37. So really not very good at Wolverhampton for some reason, but at Chelmsford, he's got a 16.33 strike rate and is making a profit for you on a pound stake return. So, yeah, this is something else that you need to know going forward. When you are backing a jockey or a horse, look at the jockey and see whether he has done anything at the track or not, because even on the same surface, Chelmsford is a different track and should be ridden differently. And obviously, William Carson does ride Chelmsford quite well, but he certainly doesn't ride Wolverhampton very well. So William Carson has got some track record at Brighton. He's got just over 11% strike rate. Okay, good. So 1 in 9 times he rides a horse, he might win at Chelmsford. So, what have we learned so far? We've learned that Nyala has some form at the track. We have learned that William Carson has some form at the track. Now I'm going to go back to sharing the at the races page, and we're going to have a look and see what else is in this race. Okay, so we haven't looked at Daniel. I'll tell you this. I won't share the page. I'll click on it and I'll tell you what Daniel's done at Brighton. At Brighton, Daniel has run 4 runners this year, and he has had 1 winner. So we can say that Daniel has a 25% strike rate, even though he's only had 3 winners all year, and his only winner on turf is at Brighton, and his strike rate is 3.03% on turf, 3.64 on all weather, and 3.41 on as a total. So he's only had 3 winners in the last 12 months. This is not a fantastic strike rate, even though one of those winners, and at 25%, it was at Brighton. He was only out of 4 runners. So Nyala, you've got to say, hasn't won. Okay, had 7 runs, no wins, only 1 place. He's actually 2 places. I don't know why they say only 1 place. Maybe that was with a 6-runner event. So 1 place, 6 runs. Is ridden by William Carson, who has a very low strike rate overall, but 11.54 at Brighton. Kubler, who has a very low strike rate, 3% overall, has got one of his 3 winners in the last 12 months out of Brighton. So you got to say we're clutching at straws here to call those positives. Now you have 5 other runners, and if you look at them, they haven't won either. And if we go into some of the form, we see that, for instance, Vicky Cristina has got some form, and is I mean, if we go into that, I will share this screen with you. So if we go back into the share screen and we go into this one, we can have a look at Vicky Cristina, and we can see what the hell this horse has done. And you've got to turn around and say, well, here's a Southall 7 furlong class 6. It came 4th, 5 1/4 lengths. Switched left inside after first. Our challenge 4th, 1 pace final furlong. Okay, not such a great effort. 33-1, not brilliant. 12th, 7th, 12th. Yeah, not great. But actually, if I go back to last year, when this horse was running in Ireland, over 7 furlongs at Limerick, this horse did extremely well. Broke well to lead, strongly pressed, and headed inside final furlong, kept on without matching winner. Now, 4-1 second favourite, and has been then given a very high mark, 75, after these 3 runs here. First run, not great. Second run, quite good, not bad at all. Prominent on outer, soon third, challenged on term straight, headed inside final furlong, 1 pace, dropped to 3rd, close home. So again, set at 9-2 second favourite. These are pretty good runs in decent enough races, good enough prize money there, 10,000 euros, 9,000 euros. So you've got a horse here that just over a year ago, a year ago, that's right, I'm talking rubbish, just over a year ago, was over in Ireland running quite well, really pretty well, enough to get a 75 official rating. 75, very, very high. And you see, actually, it has done bugger all, really, since then. I'm sorry, I shouldn't really swear, but it has done bugger all. Moved over to John Holt from Ireland, and had a 192-day break, and came out with a 63 rating, and has done very little, apart from drop like a stone, dropped 13 pounds in 4 races, and has just started to come somewhere near some kind of form. And it was 50, and now it's rated 48. So we have a horse here that has shown some kind of promise. Just over a year ago, was given a very high handicap mark as a result. Done nothing in its races in Ireland. Was sold across the water and has done nothing from 63 to 54. Dropped those £4 down. It was in Class 5 here. You can see Class 5 on at Goodwood, Class 5. So that was a decent race. Silka Mistress, decent horse that beaten 6 1/4 lengths off 58. So you'd say off 48 if this horse had been in that race off 48, he may well have beaten Silka Mistress. £10, 6 1/4 lengths, not such an unlikely prospect. So you could really have a Goodwood 6 furlong Class 5 decent race. Given a £10 swing, could well have been certainly up there and maybe even have won it. So we are talking about a horse that has done stuff, was given a high handicap mark, dropped like a stone from 75 to 48, and is now coming out at Brighton in a Class 6 against what? Against, we stop sharing that one and go back to share the at the races screen. So we have here in Vicky Cristina a horse that's got every possibility really of a very low mark now, 48, getting a stone from Nyala, getting one full stone from Nyala. You would say, I would have thought has an equal chance. However, now here we have a situation where I haven't gone into these others. I mean, I have looked at them, and there are snippets of form. Conferia is a Society Rocker with a very good sire. Has a bits and pieces. It's lightly raced, and you know, it could be something, it could be nothing. More likely to be nothing than something, but you never know. George Baker, funny old trainer. Pat Cosgrove, decent enough jockey. The others, Sequin seems to have some kind of form, not very much. Again, lightly raced, could be anything. Been off for a long time. Maybe it's had a few problems coming back. So you know, here we are. We've got a 6-horse race. Nyala's probably got the best form in the race. I would say Vicky Cristina, in its early days, just over a year ago, has the best form in the race. That would be what I would be arguing. Even saying that's got the best form in the race, I'm not sure. I don't think William Carson is a great jockey. I don't think Daniel Kubler is a great trainer. So I'm not sat here going, wow. I'm not a great fan of Royston French, but let's have a quick look and see. I'll tell you what Royston's got in terms of his track record. So if we go click on Royston French, and Royston has an 8.33 strike rate, but only a 3.03 one on turf. So that's not fantastic at all. So again, you know, we're rather saying, is Nyala the best of the bad bunch? Quite possibly. Is it an odds-on favourite? Because if we look at the current betting, look at 10 to 11. It's 10 to 11 across the board. So it's an odds-on favourite, 5 to 6. I mean, how on earth can you? I mean, even if the other horses have 3 legs, this one's only got 3.5 legs. I mean, this is the poorest of the poor against even poorer of the poor. And I've made a case for Vicky Cristina and saying that actually Vicky Cristina may well have the better form. We add in the complication that none of them really have any experience over Brighton, and suddenly something could actually have a major change of form because they like or don't like Brighton, which is equally likely for Nyala as in any of the others. And you sit there going, there are so many unknowns here. that you can't possibly have Nyala at 10 to 11 favourite. So this is where you have to sit and go. You know, if Nyala was Usain Bolt, fine. I've got all the confidence in the world to say Nyala's beaten Vicky Cristina in 4 races before, and therefore, when I look at these odds, it should be that certainly every other occasion Nyala should win, and once every 6 times Vicky Cristina should win. But I'm not seeing that in the form, in the jockeys, in the trainers, in the course, in the distance, in the going. In fact, all I seem to have when I look at this race is a whole load of question marks. And if you look at time form, even time form isn't ruling out any. I mean, they say that they think that Rockus with 2 stars is not really a great prospect, and I would probably agree with them. But you know, you've got 3 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, and 5 star. So again, when you see that with time form is not saying this is an outstanding horse and here's 2 star, 4 star, 1 star, 2 star, 1 star. It's not doing that. So I think if you're looking for a race and you're saying, well, what is the reason why this horse is favourite at all? You know, 3 to 1, 2 to 1, you know, but favourite at all. And if there isn't a compelling reason, such as it won last time out, it's on top form, it has a top trainer, it has a top jockey, it's a course and distance specialist, it's been running on firm ground, and now it's got the soft ground it needs, so we're expecting a major change in form, and we got evidence that when it's soft ground, the horse performs significantly better. If we haven't got any of those factors, then the horse is what's called a false favourite. It's only favourite because there are no strong factors for the other horses, and there's sort of mediocre factors for the horse that is favourite. And certainly in this race, where you've got an odds-on shot who's never won, is in a Class 6, and you know, the closest it's come is to be you know, a 3rd place in a rather ropey old race at you know, at Brighton. You've got to turn around and say, you know, come on guys, how on earth could it be that low price? Now, of course, as I keep saying when I'm looking at, you've seen other blogs that I've done, we're not talking about whether this horse will win or not. This horse might win. It might win. But under the circumstances, if I said to you, this is the analogy I use, I'm going to toss a coin. It's a perfectly fair coin. And you know, therefore, that if I toss that coin enough times, it should come up heads as often as tails. And therefore, if I don't give you even money, i.e., it's straightforward. If it comes up heads as much as tails, then I should give you even money without taking any commission and blah 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 blah, bookmakers bits and so on. But if I was to say, here we go, this is an open book, you know, I'm going to bet tails, you're going to bet heads, therefore we put a $5 on each, and you know, there you go. If it comes up heads, I get the tenner, so I get even money. If it comes up tails, you get the $5, and you make £10. You take £10 away, and therefore you get even money. So fine, it's an even money bet. Yes, fair coin. No double-headed coins or anything stupid like that. So it's a fair-headed coin, a fair coin. So now let's take the different example, and I've got the same coin, yeah, fair coin, everything's fair, but I'm going to say, oh no, heads is 1 to 2, and tails is 2 to 1. And you go, you're mad, you're completely nuts. I'd always bet tails at 2 to 1, always. I mean, you'd be mad not to. I mean, if you know that it should come up heads and tails evenly, which I'm telling you it is because it's a fair coin, then you would never ever bet 1 to 2 on heads and go against the 2 to 1 on tails. However, that happens in betting. This Nyala is not a coin toss to win. It's not. It simply isn't. There are 5 other horses in the race, of which probably 3 have maybe the same sort of chance, and Nyala should be 3 to 1, 5 to 2, bottoms 5 to 2. So, in the situation where we have this race, it's like the coin toss. It's like me saying to you, heads is 1 to 2 and tails is 2 to 1. You have to go with the value. Now, in the situation we're in with Betfair, you can either lay Nyala and think that one of the 5 opponents is going to come out and beat it, or you can back the alternative. The alternative was Vicky Cristina, or one of the other horses if you thought that they had a better chance. Now, to me, I can't tell you out of a bunch of nags which one's going to suddenly improve or bring out the form. Vicky Cristina looks the most likely, but it could be that Rockus somehow suddenly finds form, or Sequin suddenly finds form, or one of the others suddenly finds the form. So I'm not going to tell you which horse is going to win. What I'm telling you is that Nyala's price is way too low. So it's an absolute lay bet, false favourite. It's a lay bet, and at some point you might want to, because it might drift. I would predict that if you look at the betting at 4:39, just before the race is off, Nyala will not be 10 to 11. It will be 6 to 4, 7 to 4, 8 to 4. I don't know, 6 to 4, 7 to 4. But if you so basically you can lay it off, or you can lay it off in running. That's the other choice. Okay, I got to go, and hopefully you learned something from this. I'll speak to you next time.